Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into a true strategic masterstroke. How on earth did a small, pretty remote town in the middle of the steppe become the secret headquarters for a revolution, completely sidelining a massive imperial capital? Well, let's find out. The whole story really comes into focus on one single snowy day, summed up by an oath that just echoes through history. We came to die for your cause. Now, this wasn't just a few words spoken into the cold air. This was the very foundation of a new nation being laid. And that day, it's December 27th, 1919, a date that's absolutely etched into Turkish history. It's a moment that seems frozen in time, right? Under a thick blanket of snow. But believe me, it sparked a fire that would forge an entire nation. And the location for all this? Picture a windswept ridge on the Dikmen hills, looking down over the quiet, modest town of Ankara. This is so far from the glitz and grandeur of the old empire, but it's right here that something totally new was about to be born. So, into the scene comes a leader, Mustafa Kemal, after this long, hard journey from Sivas. But the people meeting him, well, it's not a regular army. It's something so much more powerful. It's the living, breathing embodiment of the national will. I mean, just get your head around the scale of this. We're talking over 3,000 horsemen and another 700 men on foot. This was the Seminole Ally, a civilian militia, a literal sea of ordinary people welcoming Mustafa Kemal and pledging their lives, their fortunes, their absolute everything to the cause of independence. And you have to understand, this was so much more than just a welcome party. It was a moment packed with deep, ancient symbolism. In old Turkish tradition, this is what's known as Kızılcıgün, the Crimson Day. It signifies the day one state falls and a new one is founded. It's a day of profound revolutionary change. So this incredible popular support, it's a huge piece of the puzzle, for sure. And hey, speaking of support, if you're finding this explainer interesting, please do take a moment to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, share and like the video. It really helps us out. All the information we're using today, by the way, has been compiled from open sources. Okay, so this huge welcome is part of the answer, but it is only the beginning of the story. To really, truly understand why Ankara was the absolute perfect choice, we first have to look at the capital that was rejected, the magnificent, but totally captive, Istanbul. The difference between these two cities back in 1919, it couldn't have been more dramatic. On one hand, you have the historic heart of an empire. On the other, a humble town in the steppe. But when it came to strategic value, their roles were completely flipped. Okay. Just look at this breakdown. It lays out the whole problem perfectly. Istanbul, which should have been the nation's brain, was occupied. It was controlled by foreign powers. Its government was basically powerless, and all its communications were being monitored. The resistance desperately needed a new nerve center, one that was free, secure, and ready to fight back. And that's the key. Choosing Ankara wasn't some move made out of desperation. No. This was the most strategic square on a giant geopolitical chessboard. This was a vision rising right out of the steppe. So it really makes you ask the question, right? With a whole imperial capital sitting there, why on earth pick this seemingly remote town? What was its secret? Well, the answer boils down to 4 critical strategic advantages. These 4 points are what transformed Ankara from a forgotten backwater into an unbreachable fortress, the perfect headquarters for a national struggle. First up, it's geography. You gotta think of it like a natural fortress. It's sitting right in the heart of Anatolia, far, far away from the reach of enemy naval guns on the coast, but it was just close enough to the Western Front to effectively command the war effort. Second, logistics. The railway, and that's the lifeblood of any modern war effort, it ran from occupied Istanbul, and its final secure stop was, you guessed it, Ankara. This made it the absolute perfect hub for funneling troops, supplies, and weapons to the front lines. Number 3, communication. Telegraph lines, which were basically the internet of the 1920s, all converged in Ankara. So from here, Mustafa Kemal could build this secure nervous system, coordinating the entire resistance across the massive Anatolian landscape instantly and without any fear of foreign interception. And finally, the 4th advantage, pure military power. The city was already the headquarters of the 20th Army Corps, commanded by a loyalist general, Ali Fuat Pasha. This meant there was immediate security and a ready-made base of operations from the second they arrived. Okay, so we've seen the grand strategy, the big picture. Now let's zoom way in to the incredibly humble building where this entire revolution was actually being run. Take a look. This is the Ziraat Mektebi, the agricultural school. For 118 absolutely crucial days, the entire heart of the Turkish national resistance was beating inside these simple stone walls. Pretty amazing, right? And this just shows you how this one single building became, well, everything, all at once. By day, it was the military headquarters, planning the defense of an entire nation. By night, lit by old gas lamps, it was a communications hub, with these all-night telegraph sessions coordinating the fight. It was also a political center, where the famous National Pact was drafted. And it was even a diplomatic office, making the very first contacts with the outside world. And this is where it all comes together, because Ankara was rapidly becoming something so much more than just a strategic headquarters. It literally transformed from a small town in the steppe into the beating heart of a new state. Ankara became the physical, tangible embodiment of a nation's unbreakable will to be free. You see, the vision here wasn't just about winning a war. It was about building a future. As Atatürk himself would later put it, the duty that falls on us and on our grandsons is to advance unhesitatingly on this road. And that incredible journey began right here, in the heart of the steppe. So this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The story of Ankara proves that sometimes the right place at the right time isn't just a capital city. It can be the very soul of a revolution. Can a city be more than just a seat of government? I think the story of Ankara says, absolutely. A city can become a cause,